Hey, I'm Michael Artsis. Welcome to the Freefly Movie Show here at NAB 2014. I'm joined by my good friend Tab from Freefly. You guys have such amazing stuff. That footage we're just watching is the Movi M5 with a special custom-made iPhone rig just for me. You did that
just for
me.
you.
And it was like so well put together, fit and finish. I was so impressed. And I mean, that just shows that literally any camera can be put on a Movi and can be shot so beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting thing about that is you were working with the smallest camera on the Movi, and we're talking to Danielle and Casey about putting the biggest camera that we can put on a Movi today. So it's an interesting juxtaposition.
That's awesome. Casey Warren and Danielle from Mindcastle, you guys do some amazing stuff. We're going to show some of your footage, but tell us a little bit about your workflow and what you're doing with the Movi and what cameras we're talking about.
So this project that we shot was with the Alexa M and the Movi, and it was the first actual use of these two technologies together. We actually had to have some custom tweaks and stuff. They did some custom tweaks on the Movi to allow it to work with this camera. But we were really happy with it, and it's something where it's kind of one of those things where we had everything coming together. We had the project happening, the script coming together, the storyboards, the pre-production, and then we had this technology that needed to happen, and it all just flowed and happened. There was no hurdles that we had to really jump over, so everything worked out smoothly.
How heavy is the Alexa M? Just to give people load it up when you put it on the Movi.
The head itself, without anything on it, is 6 pounds, so it's a fairly beefy little camera. It's solid. When you knock on it, it doesn't echo. It's like solid rock. So it's a pretty heavy little head, and we had to figure out how to mount that and how to balance it correctly. But the cool thing is that it all worked out with just extending a couple pieces on the Movi to make them fit. And now that rig can be adapted for other cameras like the F55 and the slightly longer cameras. So it's opened up a whole new world of cameras you can put on this rig. They don't have to be the DSLR sized camera.
Even the AJA that was announced yesterday and the new Black Magic Ursa, which is probably the worst name ever for a camera. You played football, right, Tab, in high school?
No,
never?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I was convinced. We used to call...
I was busy studying so I could learn how to make your iPhone Movi.
That's awesome. You're a better man for it, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, the football wouldn't have worked out. So.
When I played, we had this sled that you hit, and we called her Bursa. And that's all I could think of is this, old sled. Right? Think of Ursa. Anyway, let's roll a clip we have. Are we going to talk over it, or are we going to let it play?
It depends on which one it is. We could show this first clip, which is a running clip, and it's Tab actually running around this fence post. And what it demonstrates that I thought was really cool is that it's just a corner on a. Oh yeah, play it.
So we're going to talk over this, right?
No, this one has full volume.
Oh, okay, has audio.
So that was one of the scenes from our film, and what I liked about that move was that it's literally just pivoting around a fence post, and that's the sort of dynamic footage you can get from just doing that. And that was just one instance of when we were shooting our film, of things that just evolved from having this piece of technology, was shots like that you just, on the fly shoot, and it's literally just going like this, panning down and then tracking with them. And that's something that I don't think any other piece of technology could do, and it works. I like to always say that the Movi works in the way that I think in terms of imagination and thinking up shots, is that flowed with how I was imagining that shot would play out. And so it was really cool to be there and shoot it and get it in one take. I mean, we did that, and then he panned up, and then what we did is he moved in front of them to get the shot of when they ran past. And you can just get so much, but just out there, pivoting around a fence post.
I think what's great is it seems so natural, right? And I think the viewer doesn't even realize that it's a Movi or what's going on. And it allows you to be so much more creative, as you said. You've done so many great things, NFL Countdown. Yeah. You've got films internationally known and commercially known here as well. It's really nice to have you on here and be talking about this stuff.
Thanks.
Has the Movi changed ever? I mean, do you literally think about like when you start, do you think about, hey, how can we use the Movi, or how can we make it work, or do you just think this is the shot we need and, oh, we'll just do it with a Movi?
I think when we were talking about earlier, when we first saw the Movi, we were seeing all this beautiful footage coming out of it, and it was really like dynamic, crazy shots. And when we got our hands on the Movi, what we want to do is just kind of implement it into our workflow and how we would tell stories. So not every shot that we used it for was the most dynamic shot. It might be a subtle storytelling shot. And so we wanted to explore the use of it in kind of a real world setting instead of just all, your whole piece isn't these big, beautiful shots. It's little intimate shots too. So that's kind of how we wanted to use it. And each part of storytelling, you use the tool that's right for that particular thing. And for our film, we were able to use the Movi for everything. So that worked out really nice.
I mean, you have a really unique workflow. You start sketching stuff in a sketch pad, and you're sketching scenes.
Yeah. So
tell me about your workflow.
Well, so what we do is with this film, we started with the script, of course, and it actually came about from a letter that my mom had wrote to me, and then Danielle sort of.
So yeah, Casey's mom passed away from cancer in 2001.
Sorry to hear that.
She was a writer, and she wrote all these letters to Casey, kind of like as a journal entry. Some of them were what they did that day. Some of them were kind of poetry type stuff. And this one was profound in that it was predicting what she thought he would be like in the future, and they put it in a time capsule so that they could unearth it years later. And when I saw it, I thought it was really a beautiful letter. I mean, to have someone who would write that about you was so cool. So I was like, we should make something about this. And this was 4 or 5 years ago. And Casey's like, oh no, I don't know.
I kind of like hid it away.
And so, when we had the opportunity to do this particular project, I said, what if we do this one again? And he kind of decided that might be the right time now to do this particular project. So then we started with some notes that I had about what I wanted to do with the letter, and then he started working on the script.
I took basically Danielle's notes and the script that she sort of created of that and turned it into storyboards. And for me, the storyboards really help with first composition, but then also just it gets you thinking about shots. And it got me thinking about how we're going to utilize movement to tell this story. We have a clip of some of our storyboards lined up with the film. And what I really liked about how we utilized the Movi on this was that we could line the Movi up with what our frame was of our storyboard. So literally we're on set, had the storyboards on our iPad, and we could get those approximate angles and really hit the notes that we wanted to in our storyboards, which played out well when we cut the film together.
Man, you're a dreamer. I think you also, when you think of the Movi or other products, you sketch it first?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually do my best thinking while walking.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm in the shower. I don't know why.
That's enough.
I can't explain it. I'm sorry about the visual you just got. How
But
about walking?
I will. I just want to comment on the work they put in pre-production. It's always super fun to work with Casey and Danielle because it's like an iceberg. 90% of it's done underwater. It's all done. You show up and everything's so tight and so organized, and so the sets are dressed so perfectly and everything's been thought through so well. It's just really fun to shoot with them.
That's really awesome. And I always say preparation is so important, and that's really great to hear. How long have you guys been doing it, and how do you know each other?
We met in high school, so we are dating, but also business partners.
I kind of figured that out. Yeah, there was a little vibe going on the couch.
So we met in school, and then we decided that we need to get summer jobs. So we started a company instead. So I guess like 11, 12 years we've been shooting.
12 years? You guys don't look old enough to be out of school 12 years.
Out of high school, yeah. So.
Out of high school 12
well,
I would have said you're like 21.
No. Someone said
he might be 23. You're definitely 21. I'm going to card you.
So yeah, we started our business back in high school.
Okay.
We got our friends to let us take pictures of them and pay us.
Has anybody ever done a documentary on you? This is a great story. This should be a story.
No.
No. We insert little bits of that into our behind the scenes films, but it's more about we like to just focus on the work that we make.
Yeah, so when I first met Casey, he was always making like films and little creative things, and I went to art school as a kid, so both kind of very creative and coming together after working together for so long, kind of fill in where he's really creative on certain ends, I'm really organized on another end, so, works well.
That's awesome. Do you guys have we have another clip, right? Do we have another clip?
Yeah, so this clip that we're going to show is, so what Danielle did with the storyboards is she took them and scanned them into the computer, and she created the edit of our film before we even shot the film, kind of like a previs. And the reason why we did this was because in our film we have two storylines, essentially. We have the mom character as she types the letter to the younger character in the film, and then we have the older version of the character getting the letter. So Danielle took these, put these in the computer, and it was a good way to also test out different soundtracks that went with it and how we were going to edit the film in the end. So what we did is
they're like done before they start. It could have been an animated film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really are right about this, Tab. You guys should just teach your workflow.
And so what we did is we thought it'd be interesting to put the final film together, or the pieces of the film that were matched up to the storyboards. And so that's what these clips are.
So look at this. I mean, you can see the sketching is amazing. And when you said sketching, I thought you did it on your iPad or something. You're actually hand sketching.
Yeah.
This must have taken you a month.
Yeah, each frame, we put a lot of, there's a lot of detail in each frame.
Casey doesn't watch much TV, so.
I'm sorry?
He doesn't watch much TV, so he spends a lot of time drawing.
I think that when you put detail into the frames of your storyboard, it helps a lot with set design, because then we went and sort of searched for a blanket that had stars and planets on it. And we could go and pick apart the storyboards and find the different props we need to fill in.
And they almost look like they were drawn after the film because they're so detailed, but it's actually, we had to search out all those props to fit exactly what he storyboarded. Like he wanted a chest at the end of the bed, so we literally had to find a location that would fit a chest at the end of the bed.
That's amazing. And I can visualize like that, but I can't draw it. and so that's really unbelievable. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would have thought, a lot of times with films, they'll do something like that, but they'll do it after the fact.
Yeah.
You did it beforehand.
Yeah.
Well,
that's really amazing. And I could see how it would help production. Who were your influences?
As in terms of filmmaking, or?
Yeah.
I mean,
we like mid-century design, like furniture and design, and we also really like space, so. And those two things came into play.
The theme of this short film in terms of the props and the set is part of this larger film that we're working on. So it was a good way for us to use this as a test bed for that kind of feeling and the props that are involved in that era.
The same world.
Yeah, the same world,
Not the same
essentially.
story, but the same world.
Yeah.
How do people watch it? How can they go find it?
You can go onto Vimeo, you can go to our website. Actually, from1994.com is where you can see the film and just more information about it. We have downloadable storyboards. You can download the whole script, check it out. You can download behind-the-scenes stills. It shows Tab operating the movie. A lot of great stills from the whole production, but those are all downloadable there. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
I have one other cool thing.
Yeah.
So one day Casey burst into my office with a hula hoop in his hand and says, I have this great idea. I think if you used it like a hula hoop instead of handles for the movie, it'd be great. You dressed it up with like black tape, and it was a great idea. And we took it, ran with it, and made it into a product that we launched here. So I wanted to bring it on and give one to Casey.
Wow.
So this is kind of inspired by him crashing into my office saying, I really want a hula hoop to attach to my Movi. So this is, it's grown into the mōviring, and we kind of took his hula hoop dream and turned it into carbon fiber and created this.
That is unbelievable. Awesome. First of all, I'm so happy that we're giving it away and giving it to Casey. He definitely deserves it. And I saw you guys using that yesterday in the booth, and I was so impressed by it. And I wanted to talk about that and a couple other things, but that's phenomenal. That's a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I came in there and I had this sort of ragged gaff tape thing. And I came in and I was like, before I even finished my sentence, these engineers took it, ran away with it, and then came back and they had a Movi mounted to it. Like, look what we did with this. It's so
cool. What do you think of it?
And it just, so it came about a long time ago. I'd always make my own stabilization rigs when we very first started out.
But you're not an engineer.
Yeah, and I'm not an engineer, so I would make them look good, but maybe not function as they should. So I went to Home Depot and I got a couple, ends of pipe and taped them all together. And over the years, I lost this ring that I had made. And I knew when I saw them after we finished the film, I saw the movie and I was like, that would be amazing to put inside that ring, especially for passing this off to people. And the amount of points where you can grab it is what I just thought would be great, and you putting this inside of it. So I went back to Home Depot and got, I was like, where do you guys have hula hoops here? Like, well, we have kind of what would equate to that. So I cut it apart and made it. It was actually the one I brought was a little bit smaller, and then they extended it wider in this, which is awesome. And brought this sort of ragged gaff tape ring into their office, and yeah, this is awesome.
I think the overall story here just speaks to the enthusiasm that they bring. When he's not sketching these incredible storyboards so that the production goes perfectly smooth, he's dreaming up camera stabilization accessories and that kind of thing. This production happened at a very busy time for Freefly, and it was very difficult to to propose the idea of making all these changes and everything to the movie that they would need to shoot with the Alexa M. But the way Casey is, he kind of comes in and gets everybody so motivated and excited that suddenly we had engineers working till 8, making sure that we could get the project done. So it's really great for us to be involved with stuff like this because the engineering team gets to see the real world implications of the hard work that they're putting in. So it's really
you must
rewarding.
have so much fun doing it.
Yeah.
And I love that, when people call you with a good idea too, you have the flexibility to implement it and to help them.
Yeah.
So, the biggest challenge in filmmaking is everybody's using a different camera at a different time. You might not use the Alexa M again or for your next thing, and you might have to call with a different challenge. And I love that Freefly really answers that call and says, oh, we'll figure out something to make that work for you. It's really important.
That's what's super exciting about having the business grow and the resources amongst the team grow is in an ideal world, when people come to us with a problem, it's great to be able to solve it and solve it quickly and give it to them. And just to have people say they want, like when you said, I really want to shoot on the iPhone, and then to give you this thing and turn you loose with it and see how you light up after using it. That's what our company's all about.
It's phenomenal. I mean, Tab, you're such a great guy. You're such a smart guy. And you have such a great company, and what's great is that you have great people there,
yeah.
And you're really growing, and it's great to see it. I'm so proud of you guys and what you're doing, and it's such an honor to meet you guys. I'm proud of what you're doing,
yeah.
And I think it's terrific, and I love your story. If I can't tell it at some point, and I'd love to, I think somebody else should.
Back to the earlier question though,
yeah.
We met when they hired me to shoot aerials for them on a Canon project a long time ago.
Wow.
We traveled around the Alaskan countryside in a minivan with a little toy helicopter.
And I met you a couple years ago at NAB because of the quadcopters,
Yep.
and Tab does, Freefly does the quadcopters, the huge ones. And the other thing is you've got the RC car. An RC car is ridiculous. This thing's like a real go-kart with an RC controller, okay?
Yep.
And you've got the Movi strapped to that. You got to go see this at the booth. Tomorrow we should bring that on or something.
All right.
To show that off. This thing is ridiculous. Have you played with that?
Yeah, it's like a military battle bot.
Are you going to figure out a way to get that into your next film?
Yes,
I got to get that
I want
into my
to
next
utilize.
project.
I think the next film is to utilize every different sort of rig and see what we can do with all of that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thanks.
This is the Freefly Movie Show here on Teradex, live coverage of NAB 2014. I'm Michael Artsis. I think, by the way, we have one more gift for you. This is from Black Rapid. They're the camera strap maker out in Seattle, right near Tab, blackrapid.com. And it's a camera strap. When you aren't shooting a movie and you just want to go out for the day and have some,
Cool.
some camera with you, you can put it on that strap or maybe attach it to the Movi or whatever else.
Yeah, we'll figure out something.
Maybe you'll come up with another rig to rig that to the Movi. I don't know. But anyway, enjoy that.
Cool.
That's
Thank
your
you.
parting gift
Thank
for
you.
joining us. Thank you so much. And it's been great. We'll be back with a whole lot more live coverage here from NAB 2014 from Las Vegas, Nevada, the Las Vegas Convention Center in just a few moments. I'm Michael Artsis alongside Tab from Freefly. Be terrific.